All right, folks, here we go. Short track racing tonight. We got it, man. North Wilkesboro style here with the Clean Racing League tonight, presented by Ghost Athletics. And it's going to be a good one, as we just stated. Short track came from a few bigger style tracks in the past couple weeks. Now we go to a little bit smaller style track. And right now, qualifying, Ross Tatum. He won last week, punched his ticket into the playoffs. Fans trying for something unprecedented, a three-peat on a championship, but in his first three seasons. Wayne, that's just unheard of right now.
Man, it's crazy. And, with the competition level in this league getting better and better season to season and him still winning, I mean, obviously he's a big part of that competition level getting better, and we're happy to see him come out here and do it. It's just, man, it's a difficult thing to achieve, but so far, if anybody can do it, he's definitely shown that he's got the drive to do it so far.
Yeah, and you mentioned that. That's the competition level. I had the privilege of having Joshua Altus up here last Wednesday. He jumped up in the booth. He wasn't racing, so he jumped up in for the ARCA series. And me and him was talking about that, and he brought that up too. And I know, man, Altus, he's a great driver. Fast champion here too. But he mentioned the same thing you just did, man. The competition, the level has just grown so much over the years. And he's finding even himself it's tougher at times to get up front. But guys like Tatum, man, they're just, it seems like it's coming natural. But I'm going to bring this one up to you, Wayne. There was another guy that really, had a pretty good finish last week, but last season was the season you want to forget about. And that's Lane Hostler, who came in and his 2 seasons just dominated. He kind of fell off a little bit. So when does the fall off of Tatum happen?
I think that's something, obviously, you never want to happen. Both as a spectator watching Ross come out here and, be a top-level performer on a week-to-week basis. But, also, obviously, as being Ross, that's just something you can't even put in your mind, right? You can't let those thoughts start creeping in, because then it becomes real, and once it becomes real, it becomes possible. And once it becomes possible, it becomes a likelihood, and you start going down that rabbit hole.
And that is awesome, because, last season we talked about that a lot. Me and Caleb did up here in the booth, the fall off that Hostler had. And it's interesting you brought that up, because mental aspect of racing, I think, is one thing. And after you dominate so much like that, and then you start having a bad season, some things happen, and plus you miss the playoffs, mentally, can you bounce back? This is going to be the season where we're going to see if Lane can bounce back. Obviously Ross right now is on top of the world, but can he bounce back and persevere? That's That's where we really say champions are born or made or et cetera, et cetera. But be interesting to see, man. Right now he's on pole, and you talk with some of the guys. We seen it, watched him practice. Really slick track out here. They're gonna have to be some patient driving.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be some patience, with the track temp. Even just during qualifying being 111 degrees, track temp being that high, and it's not so much that the tires are going to wear too badly. It's just that everything's going to be so hot. Everything's going to be icicle, especially on the exit of the corners. The exit of the corners, if these guys can't be patient and just easily roll into that throttle, if they try to put the hammer down, you're going to see a couple really good spins from just a pure lack of patience.
Have you got your chance to ever run this track? I've never got to race it on iRacing.
I've raced it not in the trucks. I raced it in Cup Series cars, and even in them, it's the same way. If the track's hot, it's just you're just trying to hang on the whole way around it. I know a lot of these guys are turning the brake bias really high, up to the 75, 80% to the front, just trying to find some kind of way to tighten these trucks up so that they're not sliding through the corners and overdriving corners, things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you bring that talk about brake bias and stuff. It's pretty much the only thing that they've got to be able to kind of control. Mentioned talked about steering ratio, and don't play a huge out there, but that brake bias really. Qualifying might be coming to the end. Ross Tatum's going to be the man out front. Another thing we bring up a lot of tires. I think this is one of the very few tracks that you might see somebody that can come through the field. Granted, they don't get into trouble. They still got to be patient, like I said. But they could come through the field on a newer set of tires. Just don't see that a lot, and because we get cookie cutter style tracks, so to speak. But I think you will be able to here. I think you'll be able to, if you get the right pit stop strategy, I think you can do it.
I think all the stars are really going to have to line up. If you're sitting back in 15th and you didn't pit and you had back-to-back cautions, everybody else pitted the first time and you didn't pit for track position, and then you find a way to pit and get yourself some tires and work your way up to the front, I can see how that could bring you forward if you had about 10 lap better tires, 15 lap better tires. But as soon as they start heating up, you're just slick. And once once these guys' tires are hot, if you're on the outside of somebody, you run the risk of their truck getting unsettled and sliding up the track or spinning out into you. And once everything gets cooled down on a caution lap, it'll be interesting to see how the temperature's affected, even just solely on caution laps, and how these tires cool down over the course of that caution lap, and see if these trucks get settled, really. If these trucks can get settled after a caution, or if we're going to see, a lot of spins coming on restarts. I think the guys that can comfortably restart this truck in second gear on fresh tires would be fine. But if these tires don't cool down enough over a caution and they try to restart in second, I think we're going to see some spins, possibly some accidents in the cautions. It's good old short track racing. You can't ask for nothing better.
I'm going to tell you what, look at that. Ricky Harding, man, taking the top spot away from old Tatum.
Yeah, Ricky Harding in that loosest fast truck. He's came out to prove it today. These trucks are loose, and Ricky Harding was fast.
Now, I watched him right there while he was talking, and saw the qualifying run about there in 42 to 47, so not fast. But, and we take it back to, go back green up is real quick, take it back to is still got to be patient out front. Well, let's look at the grid real quick, see what we got out here tonight. As the man, like you just saw, we were talking about Ricky Harding, man, putting it out front, stealing it away from the man Ross Tatum sitting in second. Kevin Becker going to start her up there in third, along with Parker Collins up in fourth. Evan Kinney, hadn't heard much from him this season, but he's starting in fifth. Might be the turnaround for him tonight. Jeremy Moyer there in sixth. Caleb Smith stepping out of the booth, man. Right now, he is showing the way, being very consistent so far. He's starting seventh. Nathan Brown got a good starting spot in eighth. Justin Carey there in ninth. We got Jordan Trask up in the 10th. Charles Van Sheik, I always just say Sheik. I know it might be wrong, but it's in 11th. Mike Kelly right there in the 12th place spot. We got old Bob Stevenson. He's up in the 13th. Seth Fowley, he's up starting 14th. Crank Bell's 15th. Michael Dunn starting in the 16th. We got Steve Gerber. He's in 17th. Eric Anderson, 18th. Scott Simley back there in 19th. Lane Hoosler, we talked about him a little bit. He's starting in 20th. Zach Peterson right there in the 21st spot. And we got Kyle Payne in the 22nd. Joe Spinelli back in 23rd. Jamie L., he's going to be there in the 24th. Still can't say his last name. I know it's French, but hey. We got Abram Ghost. We had the privilege of having him up in the booth with us last week. He's starting 25th. We got Tyler Honeycutt there in 26th. Justin Curtis, he's in 27th. Bryson Clark starting at 28th. Jacob Grant there in 29th. Chris Smith, he had an outstanding run in the ARCA Series. He's up there in 30th. Old Fred, man, you got to give a shout out to him. Love him, man. Comes out here week in and week out doing his thing. Starting 31st. Joshua Altus, not the night he wants, man. He's got some work to cut out here and a hill to climb. He's starting in 32nd. Brad Meyer there in 33. David Burr, he's up in 34, and Dustin Martin back in 35th. And Wayne, I tell you, that's a heck of a field, man, for a short track. And Altus has got some work back there in 32nd spot.
Yeah, I want to take a look back at his qualifying lap and just see if, what could have happened. Looked like the first lap that he was out might have clipped the wall.
Okay.
Yeah, first lap he was out, he spun out, clipped the wall, and that negated that first lap. And I think he just had a slow lap on that second lap. Like I said, this track is hot, and it's hard to catch the traction that these guys need to catch.
Real quick before we go green here, what do you think he needs to do to get to the front, besides being patient?
Get to the front is going to be all about keeping that truck clean. Keeping that truck clean, avoiding the wrecks, and just understand that you've got 120 laps to make this happen. It doesn't need to happen in the first 20. It doesn't need to happen in the first 60, right? You just have to be up front in the back 5. And the last 5 laps of the race is when you got to be up there. And as long as he can remember that and keep that in mind, keep his truck clean, keep his tires up below him, he'll be all right. Keep his truck on a straight and narrow.
Absolutely. And you hit the nail on the head right there when you said keep that truck straight as arrow and don't bend it up, because we're probably going to see some bent up truck short track racing here tonight. Lights off on the pace truck. We're going green here. We got Ricky Hardin, Ross Tatum out front. Appreciate everybody out there tuning in. I know we got some fans out there pulling for Bowdy, Dustin, and so forth, but pace truck takes that hard left turn off on pit road. Hardin, Tatum up front. We're going green flag racing. Wayne, man, we are racing at North Wilkesboro.
Yes, sir. We're going into turn 1. We're side by side up there in the front. It's going to be tight the whole way through. Oh, Caleb Smith getting a little loose coming out of the corner.
Yeah, this is where it gets dicey, man. And you know that you've been a driver out here. This is where you've got to just, you got to be that, what do I call it, like the old yellow flags are out. I always like to call it conservative aggressive, kind of, so to speak, but not quite sure what the yellow was on. Didn't see a truck spin. Go back here with Altus and tapping in the back. Probably one of those really quick slide. How iRacing does, picks up just a little slide or something. Back in the Packer up front, huh?
Yeah, there wasn't nothing up front.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, yeah, it looked like right in front of Altus.
Okay.
The 89, Bryson Clark, yeah.
That's right. And I think it's a product of what we talked about. You mentioned got to have that egg underneath the throttle. A little bit too much throttle probably coming off the turn here. Over here in just a second. A little high. Good through that turn, but two in front of him there about it. Yep. That could be a brake bias issue right there.
Could be a brake bias issue, and like I said, if somebody's on the outside of you, it's going to be real hard to pass tonight on the inside. Inside's going to be the best to keep your tires clean, but passing on the inside is going to be hard. Once you get in there, for whatever reason, it pulls the air right off the rear of that truck, and it just send that truck around. And that, we watched it the whole time in practice, and it looks like it's absolutely translating to the race. Track's cooled down a little bit. We're only at 104 degrees, but I expect if we get some green laps, that's gonna skyrocket.
Yeah, good little sunny day here too, North Wilkesboro, and if folks, if you're not familiar with North Wilkesboro, it's one of the oldest tracks. North Carolina, obviously, not far from where I'm at. I'm about an hour away from it and whatnot, but they didn't race this track. They shut it down back in the 90s, just opened back up here in the last several years. They redid it, opened it back up. Dale Earnhardt Jr. got out there with a bunch, got a bunch of people, got the thing back opened up. Talk more about that in a second. As lights off on the pace truck, drops on pit road. We're going back green. Hardin, Collins and company up front. Green flag, we're back racing again.
Back racing, we're going in side by side into turn one, and still side by side. Ricky Hardin's going to try to clear Parker Collins. Doesn't quite get it. Parker Collins gets to the front on the outside. Ricky, oh man, they're side by side battling all the way around this track. I don't think either one of them is going to give it up. Yeah, that's clean air you just can't let go of. Ricky Hardin getting a little loose on the entry of that corner there.
Oh, and then he got tight in the middle.
Way to save that.
Still side by side right there. You got Collins on the outside, Hardin on the inside. Man right behind him right there, Tatum. He's just watching the battle and hope the two men don't wreck and take him along with him. Meanwhile, behind him, you got, Becker and company, but still, man, Collins fighting on the outside. This is one of these tracks here, too.
Jordan Travis behind him got a little loose, almost got himself up in the wall.
Yeah, this is one of these tracks, too, here, man, Wayne, that you can see that the outside, you can use it here. Normally we don't see a lot of short tracks where you can use the outside, like Martinsville and so forth.
Yeah, this is, talking to the drivers, and they were all, the people that haven't raced here were trying to see what to expect, and they all just kind of equivalated it to Martinsville because of the shape and the style of track. But, like you said, this is a track where you can run that top lane. This is like if Bristol and Martinsville had the best baby possible, right? Where you could, you have a top lane, you can run. There's enough room on the track that you can take it 3 wide, but it's still got that Martinsville very short track feel to it. The track's only 0.6 of a mile long.
Got a lot of heavy hitter names, man. Watching back here around about the 18th place spot. Bob Stevens right there along with it. But I'm looking back here too, man. We've got some names. There's Scott Simley, Eric Anderson, Honeycutt. We mentioned before there, Altus. He's able to move up to 24th, but these guys are kind of just stuck at Jacob Grant back there too. I see hey, what's going on, Caitlin? How are you? I know you're out there pulling for Jacob. But these guys right now kind of look like, man, they're just kind of stuck for the moment.
Yeah, as loose as these trucks are, it takes a Joshua Altus type of driver to drive through this field right now.
Ooh,
like you said, if anybody can do it, that's him. And there's that yellow flag coming out for Fred spinning.
And it took Jamie also too with him. Let's see what happened here. You see Fred back here, and the 15 machine right there along with it was Jamie. Those two, I think, might have got too soon, but Jamie's right there in front of him. Oh, he just loses it.
Jamie got out there. Oh, and takes out Fred on the way.
Man. Fred just couldn't get away. Almost, I don't know if you watched some of the Talladega race this past weekend. I caught some of the highlights, and it almost like that pit road wreck, Brad Keselowski and all, and you saw, I think it was the number 12. He almost had it cleared, and it just clipped the back end of him. I mean, barely. He was almost clear of the thing.
I'll tell you what, man, it's hard to be a Ryan Blaney fan this season. Oh my goodness, my girlfriend there, she was a Martin Truex fan last year, and last year retired.
Fan, man.
What's that?
I've been a Joey Logano fan.
I tried to tell her to be a Joey Logano fan, and she politely said no thanks.
That's what I'm saying. Give him all kinds of heck. Yeah, I was
give him all kinds of heck,
so.
But come race day, he gives everybody else all kinds of heck.
Well, right now, it's been Collins and Harding up front. Got to appreciate, man, all our sponsors out there, man. Ghost Athletics coming on board here. Title sponsor to the league here, the Clean Racing League. has done some awesome stuff. And, we got the privilege to talk to Ghost last week and hear a little bit about the history of Ghost Athletics. And that is cool, man, because I did not know that he was a retired police officer out there, port and so forth. And also, Jacob, Grant's Designs, got to look at it because we've got some pretty trucks out here he's made. And then CRL Podcast. Check him out on YouTube and Spotify, the CRL Podcast. But let's go back green here, man, North Wilkesboro.
Looks like we had a couple trucks pit. Chris Smith, Abram Ghostin, Jordan Trass. They all pit. Looked like Chris might have just gotten fuel with a 5-second pit stop. Abram and Jordan look like they both probably got some tires.
Yeah.
Jordan
Lights
probably
off.
got some damage repaired on that thing. Lights off.
Off on that pace truck. We're going back green. It's been all Collins and Harding out front. Pace trucks in. We're going back racing at North Wilkesboro style. Short track racing back here. As you see, man, right there, man, I'm going to tell you what, the 87 of Collins says, I don't want to get stuck. He was on the outside. Now Harding's on the inside. Harding's on the outside. Now he's on the inside, Collins is. So it's kind of reverse roles.
It's reverse roles, and, it's good for both of these guys to feel out where they want to be. I know going into turn one there, it looked like Collins kind of drove it up the track a little bit, just about a half a lane higher than normal. I think it offset Ricky a little bit, and it looks like he's going to settle right down in that second spot and just try to get comfortable there. Ross Tatum hanging out right there with him.
Yeah, they go single file. Evan Kinney, man, got to give a shout out to him there. Been kind of having a quiet season so far. But, right now, this could be a race, man. It could turn that around. He's up there in fourth place spots. I mean, so Evan's been one of the long veterans. We talked about that, I think it was the other week there, Wayne. Talked about the veterans and the new guys coming in here and the level of competition that has happened and so forth. And, I'm going to consider you as a veteran of here. You've been here a little bit. How does it make you feel when you see a lot of these new guys come in and they're just like, man, what's that do with the psyche of the driver?
It depends, right? It's like, being a driver in the league, you see somebody new come in, and without knowing them, you automatically expect, all right, they're just going to be a new guy in the league. I'll see you back around 20th place, and then they qualify on the pole, and all of a sudden, you got to learn their name, right?
Yeah, like Jamie's last name. I still to this day don't. I just call him Jamie Hill.
Yeah, all of a sudden these new guys that qualify on the pole, look at Ross Tatum. He came in 2 seasons ago and won 2 championships in a row. I don't think any veteran driver saw that one come, right? A, nobody had done it before, and B, he was a new driver coming fresh into the league.
He's got an easy last name.
Yeah.
Hey.
Easy last name and easy last name, easy number to remember, and you couldn't ask for a nicer guy.
You're right, man. I mean, we've had the privilege to talk about him. You're really humble. As we talked last week, he won. Well, Caitlin, man, I hope the Monday gets a lot better. We do appreciate that, man, because race day. I've said it a million times. I'll say it a million more. I enjoy this league out here, Clean Racing League. It's in their name, Clean Racing. Now, when I say that, I'm probably going to get, punched in the head with this track, because there's some tracks out here that are they're just bad tracks, no matter how good you are, they just breed cautions. And so far, these guys, man, have been doing pretty good. Just a couple spins out there, but like everybody's gotten settled down, got single file. So hope your Monday, man, starts to get a lot better. And look at it this way, there's always Tuesday, and I always like to say to myself, and anybody else out there, man, thankful, woke up, you're here right now watching the race, and these racers out here having fun, man, and the Wayne's up here, and hey, another day.
That's right, and just remember, there's only one Monday a week, and it's over with.
Too, yeah. Saturday's coming. There we go, Friday.
And I'll tell you what, there ain't nothing better than ending a Monday with some good short track racing. Right now, we got some good short track racing going on. A lot of side-by-side battles all throughout the field here. A lot of big movers. Joshua Altis still moving up. He's up 14 positions on this run, since the start so far. Lane Hosler up 10 positions, found his way all the way up to 10th now. Mike Kelly is also going to be one of them guys to watch. Mike Kelly in that number 2 truck sitting in 5th right now. He's up 7 spots, and he's going to be one of them guys to watch. He always shows out on these short tracks.
Ooh, Jamie around again in the back. So tonight, track man just not doing him any favors. No caution there too, but let's go back and watch and see what happened to him. And again, I think it's going to be a product of either that, the braking part where the brake bias is like you talked about, and I got a feeling that's it. There's only a couple ways to solve that issue, and you know this, Wayne. One, back up the turn. Start easing out of the gas and hitting the brakes a lot earlier. Or 2, like you said, adjust that brake bias because it looks like it's spinning him around a little bit. So, because you can't do much more other than that.
That, and you figure he also may have some wheel damage from getting connected with Fred earlier.
Abraham Ghost, caution out here. Right after what we was watching. Ghost in that blue one there, unfortunately. And again, that just...
Oh, he just got loose going into the corner, just unsettled. Good on Fred for missing that one, though. Yeah, man, that was almost 2 of them running into Fred back to back.
Benefits Jamie a little bit there because he didn't get the caution on his end, but under caution here, Allen's been the man out front so far. Harding right there behind it, and I think that was the first time we saw a little bit of a longer green flag run. Everybody kind of got single file, and that's kind of just short track in a nutshell. After a while, you're going to see everybody single file, and the leaders on pit road. Well, Harding's on pit road.
A couple of leaders on pit road.
Is this maybe uncommon, or did you see this one coming?
After about 30 laps, they get 4 sets of tires. So after about 30 laps, it's going to be your logical pit stop, right? Is you split it up 120 divided by 4. You're pitting every 30 laps for tires.
Okay. We got 34 in already. That goes back.
Yeah, we're about, once we go back green, we'll figure we'll be about 36 laps in. They're going to have the better tires. I think this is really going to create a disparity in the field, right?
This is what we were talking about before the race. What is the tires going to do? Now we're going to see, and I'm going to just go out on a limb. Could be wrong, but I'm going to go out on a limb. 33 lap tires, you should see those guys coming through the field. Now, with that said, here's where that conservative, aggressive that I always like bringing up. You've got to be conservative but aggressive because you're going to be way faster than the guys in front of you. And you don't want to run them over, and you definitely don't want to hurt your truck. You don't want to get yourself into trouble. So, because you're going to catch guys in turns, and you're going to be able to do things that they're not going to be able to. And you mentioned it, spinning the tires on the start. So, I think this right here is going to be the first time we're going to see it in this race. You're going to have to be really kind of, I want to get to the front. Got to be patient doing it.
Yeah, you're going to have to be patient. And really all these guys on fresh tires, everybody at this point, it's going to be everybody from 10th place back, it looks like, that's going to be on fresh tires. So the main thing is going to be these guys not tripping over each other, trying to drive to the front, not getting over aggressive with each other. Because even on these fresh tires, that track is hot, right? We're at 107 degrees. That track is hot, and it's still getting loose just a couple laps into a green flag run. You don't want to over push yourself on fresh tires and end up spinning and ruining your fresh tires, right? Once you end up spinning, you take a good slide. Now you're basically on worn tires. You're in the same position as everybody in the first 10 spots, but you're down 1 set of tires.
Tires can come to premium here tonight. We'll have to see. Collins out front, like you said, the top 9 did not pit. Ricky Harding is the first one that had pit. He's got 4 fresh ones, and he's got a couple guys behind him right there. Kelly, Bell, Moyer, Brown, and Hostler all took 4. Grant did not. He had an 8-second stop, so he probably took 2. But lights off, pace trucks in, Collins and company up front. They ease it out. We're going back green. Let's see what happens on this restart.
It looks like there's one of those spins we were talking about with who is that truck sitting in 4th right now? They had a
Kevin
real
Becker.
rough. Becker. Yeah, Kevin Becker started on that outside line and just almost immediately fell back. Looked like he might have spun a little bit on that restart. Hardin stuck, and this is, even with fresh tires, this isn't where you want to be. If you're Hardin right now, you just want to lock in, hold tight, be patient. Like we keep preaching, just patience, patience, patience. If you're Hardin, just keep the patience about you. Hang on to these fresh tires. You're still going to have 30 lap pressure tires and everybody in front of you. As soon as you can, get it worked out. But you got some hard guys to pass up in front of you, right?
The
next truck the very next truck he has to pass is Joshua Altis.
And I'm surprised.
Altis is up 25 positions, and he's not going to be interested in giving any of them up.
No, and Wayne, I'm really surprised right now because, we haven't seen it. I think we're going to about to see it here in just a second. But I was watching Harding right there, trying to get around, and it looks like what you said. Those tires could fall off so quickly that even the new tires might not be as beneficial as we thought. But because I figured, all right, they're going to be able to make moves like crazy, passes. But it seems like it's still a tough place to pass. I mean, yeah, now he's starting to maybe come through the field. And he's been patient.
Yeah.
See Mike Kelly right there behind him, too.
Yeah, I think you'll see the biggest moves once he gets into that single file traffic that's out in front of him, right? Once he gets into that single file traffic, he's going to have more room on the track to just make these moves. Right now, right now he's battling with Mike Kelly to be the first one to get out and yellow flags out. These guys are battling to be the first one out to the front to get to that single file traffic to start working their way through it.
Like Kyle Payne. Like see what happened to him on here. Oh, he's out there by himself in the blue and black machine. Maybe another product of what we've been seeing all night long. Just either slid it going in or slid it coming out. Too much maybe throttle or did too much brake. You have to use a brake here at this track.
Oh yeah, you got to use the brake.
There he goes. Yeah, looks like we just got on the throttle too much.
Yep, a little bit too much throttle there on the exit. And like I said, those exits of those corners, that's gonna be a telltale out here. Is can you control the throttle on the exit?
Harding was able to move up to fifth along with Kelly and Bell. You see back here, man, Hosser was able to get up to the ninth place. So Harding was able to make a couple positions up. And, maybe this caution was a blessing in disguise, too, because his bunches the field back up. He's able to get back up here, regroup a little bit. Looked like Mike Kelly was the more aggressive in that group there trying to get through the field. Looked like Harding was kind of just being a little more patient about it. Kelly was like, I'm taking it 3 wide. I want to get to the front as quick as I can.
Mike Kelly, he's really shown in all the short track races, if you give that guy clean air, he's going to drive away, right? And that's what he's trying to do, is he's trying to get out there, get to the front, get himself some clean air on fresh tires, and do his best to drive away. You figure if he's the first one out to the clean air, he knows he's one of the fastest guys on short tracks. He knows he's dominant on the short tracks. He just wants to get out there and put himself in a position to prove it, right? Absolutely.
And we also talk about, we talk about veterans, new guys, et cetera. One of the new guys, Mike Kelly. I know him from in the past, done some broadcasting with him, so kind of familiar with his racing style and how he is out here. Definitely know he's one of the fast cats. Won 3 races last season in his first season here. Didn't make the playoffs and all, but nonetheless, he's a charter driver. He's got that opportunity this season. Pace trucks in, Collins and company up front. Still got to be careful, like you mentioned, about this spinning the tires. Everybody got a good start, though.
Yeah, Collins with a huge, great restart. Ross Tatum's not going to let him get too far away, though.
Becker's got to deal with Harding back here in the back. You see those guys with those new tires, Kelly, Bell, and company. Now they got that preferred inside lane.
Yeah, now they got that inside lane, and they're going to start working their way around these guys, At what point, being one of the guys on the original set of tires that you started this race with, you got to wonder at what point do they decide, all right, it's time to get in there and pit. Now they're all going to end up, at least these guys, Kevin Becker, Joshua Altis, these guys are going to be in dirty air on old tires. In the mix with everybody behind them at this point. Everybody around them is all going to be clean tires.
I've mentioned this a couple times, and obviously being the Clean Racing League. To me, Wayne, I know when you come out here, if I was to prepare for one of these races in this league, the first thing that's going to come to my mind when it comes to pit stops and strategy is this thing's going to go caution the whole entire way. whether it's a short track or whether it's a long track. As yellow flag's out, unfortunately, it's the president. We'll get back to that thought here in just a minute. But said it was Fred off the track. But what happened here?
Like...
Quite sure he was there in the pit road area. Good old Fred, man. I gotta give him a shout out, man. Give him credit. Just out here week in and week out, just have fun. Got that Clean Racing League truck out there, looks good. Just unfortunate night for tonight. Rough track here. That's north of Wilkesboro for you. Yeah, just a little bit too much.
A little bit loose on entry. It looked like he kind of unsettled the truck. We saw him kind of dip down in the track on the straightaway and then came back up. And when he went to cut into the corner, it just unsettled the truck. All that weight shifts to the one side and it just throws that truck off to the side.
Real quick, back to what I was saying there beforehand. We talk about pit strategies. I would prepare for this thing to go green the entire time, and so obviously either one pit stop or making it a 2 pit stop. You mentioned like Collins and him. It's looking like, because Collins didn't pit this time either, that this one has turned and now he's like, okay, there's probably going to be another caution. Now I'm going to have an opportunity. I might be able to stay out here far enough, or even if I give up the lead, I might fall to 5th or 6th. And by the time it's my scheduled pit stop, I'm going to be right there with these guys. So that's kind of how I look at it. Coming into this league, I mean, obviously every league or every situation is going to be different. But, being the Clean Racing League, man, I feel like here, I've watched so many of these races, Wayne, watched you guys out there, that my pit strategy is just going to be, it's going to go green. But then we do get, little races like this, a track that's just bad track.
Yeah, it's nobody like that long, 15, 16 lap green flag run we had. Nobody plans for that at a short track, right? You have to plan for the whole thing to go green.
Right.
Knowing that you're going to get some cautions in between. You never know how many, right? We've had races with, 9, 10 cautions. We've had races at super speedways that you expect the cautions.
Yeah.
And we go, flag to flag, green to checkered.
Yeah.
Yeah. We go green to checkered, green all the way through. And everybody's strategy's messed up because they were banking on just pitting at the cautions.
And it's crazy, man. Like I say, gotta love it. Pace truck's in. We're going back green. Collins has been the man. Now it's going to be interesting to see, can he hold these guys off? He's done an outstanding job on his restarts, not spinning the tires. So even with 33 lap old tires, I feel like if it's a long green flag run, those guys will, overtake him. As you see right now, Harding's able just to throw that thing on the inside where Collins can't. But how much does he lose? He looks pretty strong right now.
He looks pretty strong, and, again, this is a hard track to pass on, and it's all going to depend on how these guys around him practice that patience. If these guys are pushing real hard, you see Lane Hosler's up in the mix. Ricky Hart's right there. Mike Kelly, Crank Bell. He's got
Joe
a lot
Spinelli, man, back there at night. Wow, he's sneaking up there.
Joe has that kind of way of doing that. Joe has a way of just finding his way into the top 10 on the tracks that almost he doesn't feel the most confident in, and then he works his way up there either based on strategy or just pure patience, right? There's no barrels here.
No barrels.
So he's got that going for him.
Yeah. Whew. Yeah, he loves them barrels, man. We talk about that. He's got it on the back of his truck, but yeah, finally looks like Collins been in those tires, kind of maybe giving up a little bit, but this is what I'm talking about. If he can still maintain in the top 10, by the time he has to go make the pit stop, I think it's going to be a win-win for him. Just have to see how much he actually falls off as Harding takes the top spot. Kelly there with him, up 10. We talk about, he's got some movers. Bell, Hostler. This could be a track for him too, man, Wayne. I mentioned that last season was just one for him to forget. And I don't know how you come about it as a driver. I've never been in the shoes of Hostler to where I've just dominated, to what he did a couple seasons ago, 2 seasons in a row. But then the psyche, you mentioned that too, as, ooh.
Caution's out.
Ow. Back to that. this. Oh, unfortunately, Dusty Martin. Around. Let's see what happened to him here. This was kind of bad back here in the back. I don't know if he maybe had a little help. Oh, yep.
Yeah, it looked like he had just a little help. Not intentional, just different braking points. And
oh, that didn't bring the caution out, so what happened afterward? Oh, he just overdrove the turn. Oh.
Well, you figure once it... Oh, man. Took that little hit in the front, got another little hit. You know, once it slides the one time, those tires get insanely hot, right? Once those tires are insanely hot on an already hot racetrack, you're asking for trouble, right? You got to extra baby it in the next turn, but you don't want to because you know you're going to give up the track position you have, right? So you're trying to just take it as easy as you can. And I've been in that position too many times, man, where I've gotten loose through one turn and saved the truck, no caution, and I'm still where I was, and I go to take it into the next turn as I would any other time, and it just slips your mind that your tires are now cooked.
Yeah.
And you got to give them a lap or two to cool down. You know, for the next lap or two after you slide them, they're gonna be hot. They're gonna be incredibly unstable.
Just real quick, like I was talking about with Hostler, just to come back. You know, you mentioned it earlier about the psyche of racing. You know, Hostler dominated those two, made the Final Four in those two, and then wasn't able to capitalize and get the championship. Come back out, everybody expected high expectations, and then just, I mean, the season fell flat. Didn't make the playoffs. It was the worst thing. Came out here this season, okay, bounce back. Can he bounce back? That's the question. And Daytona not being the best race it is, but tonight could be the turnaround for him.
Yeah, you know, this is kind of a track where his skill set really shines. It's a really technical track that you have to be incredibly consistent. And I think that's really, from what I've seen out of him, that's more his wheelhouse. You know, Daytona's Daytona. Anything can happen. You pit with the wrong group, you have one extra second in your pit box. You come into the pits a little bit too hot, you get one penalty, anything to that effect, and you've ruined your race. We're going back green here.
Yep, green
Ricky
flag.
Harden with a great start coming back to green. Mike Kelly doesn't look like he's going to let him get away.
Got Harding, man, to come up front. Bell's there with it. Hostler, man, is going to take a couple moves on the inside. You got Kelly right there, man, but Harding's going to take that top spot. Bell, Hostler, Grant. Jacob Grant up 24 spots. So he's utilizing that pit strategy he did earlier to get the track position to get up front.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the two-tire call was just beautiful to get himself up there and get himself that track position to hold on. And, you know, once they reach second round of pit stops, he's already there, right? He can get his four tires and then do what Jacob Grant does, which is drive the wheels off them things.
Grant's Designs Ghost Athletics machine out here tonight. Looking smooth, obviously, and also he brought about the new series. Definitely check it out on Wednesday night. The Clean Racing League ARCA series has been some good racing there, too. We just came from the short track of Martinsville, which was a thriller, to another short track here tonight for the trucks. And, contact. Well, that was, and...
a little bit more contact. We got a big one here, Wilkesboro. Oh, Caleb Smith involved.
Let's see if we can't dissect. We saw a little bit of beating up there. 87 got up into the wall. We're going to ride here with Seth Fowdy. He was kind of right there in the midst of it. Watch that green truck, though, in front of him. They got side by side.
Crank Bell got a little loose.
Yeah, he got loose, got up into him. So there,
Crank Bell got a little loose, got up into the 87, and
then around,
looked like Seth Fowdy just went down to avoid it.
Caleb got hit. Oh, man, Caleb was doing so well.
Parker Collins finally going to make his first pit stop of the race.
Yeah, finally.
70 laps in, finally going to make that first pit stop.
Just how long they can go on the tires and stuff. Just watching Caleb Smith's view here. Just out there trying to mind his own business, and this is just short track racing. And, you know, got a little room with this track, but it can fill up real quick. See it right there. He almost had it, and nothing the truck behind him could do. Fortunately for him, nobody took his front end or end off, and everybody got around. He was patient to wait. Yeah. Action. Been a good
You'll
one.
have that.
What, 72 into this one? Oh, I'll tell you what, fine.
Yeah, 72 into this one.
Woo. Man. Been hardy now, Fred. And, Wayne, man, we've had a lot of talking points on this race here tonight. And, just typical short track racing. With what Collins just did right there, though, it's going to mar him back in traffic. I really didn't see the benefit of the tires, though. Can he come from 20th to the front? Let's say, hypothetically, this thing goes green the rest of the way. Can he do that? I mean, I don't know.
If we go green the rest of the way, I could see him. Parker Collins is a good driver, right? Parker Collins is a real good short track driver. I could see him working his way back to the front. He's still got another 48 laps left in this thing. It's just like we keep preaching. It's going to be all about that patience. These guys in front of him have 40 lap older tires. Granted, there's been a lot of cautions in that period.
So, green flag.
Go side by side. Great start by that front row.
Yeah, that was awesome. Kelly, man, Harding, man, Hostler right there along with everybody side by side. I mean, if you are Collins, like you just mentioned, patience at this point is going to be the key. He's still got to realize, okay, I've got some time. But with the cautions that we've had too, Collins, Wayne, I brought this up in Collins Park. Try to at least get maybe 3, 4, 5 positions, because a precaution does fly. If you're able to get those many positions each time, eventually you're going to find yourself up there in that top 10 as caution is out. Got another one. You got back
there.
Yeah,
if you're Parker Collins right now, you want to be in front of Jordan Trask, Nathan Brown, and Abram Ghostin. Those are the 3 trucks in front of him that have pitted most recently to him.
Zach Peterson and Dave watching that black truck right there, folks. Turning a little wiggly right there. Oh yeah, just overdrove the turn, and then right behind him, Fred spinning a little bit and know where the 92 goes. Just kind of closed up on him. It's an unfortunate night, but let's see real quick if did Collins able to make up any spots? He's up to 15th, so he was able to make up a few spots, and that's what I was talking about. Okay, I'm marred back here in traffic. At least get 3, 4, 5 positions, because if a caution comes out quick like that, I mean, he's only 6 away from being in the top 10. He can slowly but surely climb himself back to that front.
Yeah, exactly. He can slowly but surely work his way up there. And that's all you have to do is, that's what short tracking is really all about, right? It's just scratching and clawing your way for every position you can take, right? Mind you, it's a clean racing league. You're doing it respectfully. You're doing it cleanly. We're not out here putting each other in the wall on purpose. And that's the beauty of this league is, you'll see it go 3 wide at North Wilkesboro, and all 3 of those guys have full confidence in the other 2 guys because of the way this league is run. Shout out to Chris for just doing a great job keeping this thing together and just keeping this the clean racing league so that these guys can come out here and put on a show running 3 wide on short tracks.
And I'm gonna go for that too, man. I mean, you're absolutely right. Clean racing league. I say it. It's in the name, week in and week out. I mean, obviously, you run into tracks like this. It's a short track. It's North Wilkesboro. It's tough. I've seen some of the best have problems out here. It's a light to go back on the pace truck. We're off there for a second, but we're not going back to green quite yet. But yeah, I'm with you there, man. Chris done an outstanding job. Got the great sponsors: Ghost Athletics, CRL Podcast, Grant's Design out there. So, hey, typical short track racing there, Wayne. I mean, have you seen anything out here that you'd do different?
Yeah, and I'm doing it now. I went right up to the booth and I started broadcasting so I could enjoy these short tracks.
Yeah, well, smart move, man. Yeah, because I'm with you on that one. I would probably have a hard time out here too.
Yeah, these short tracks in any sense, no matter how competitive the field is, I'm not going to be a front runner at a short track. And in the CRL, on a short track, I'm more in the way than anything because these guys are so good. They keep it so consistent. You know, I'm the guy that's in the back self-spinning because I can't be patient on the exit.
Pace trucks in.
We're going back green. Ricky
Hardin
with a beautiful restart.
Kelly right there along with it. Hostler, man. Tatum, man, out front. Simley along with him. We got Kenny there, too. So, and caution out real quick. We got Jordan Trask. Oh, he was up front.
Oh, no.
Man, let's go back and watch what
for
happened.
a bit. He did just come out of the pits not long ago.
He did. They just pitted at lap 75. See what happened. Maybe cold tire issues. See if he had some help. Right there in that alloy truck, number 79. Oh, got him on track
it looked like
bit.
62. Was that Michael Dunn?
Wow.
Yeah, 62 and Michael Dunn kind of, don't want to say he pushed his way in there, but he ran down a little bit in there, and I think the 92 and the 62 got into each other a little bit, and unfortunately Jordan got the short end of the stick.
Wow. So if you're Ricky Harding, when do you make another pit stop? These guys up front, they pitted on lap 33. We know Collins went 70-some laps, so are they thinking about going the distance?
You know, honestly, if I'm Ricky Hardin right now, I don't think I'm going into pits. If we keep running the way we have been, and they're getting a lot of caution laps on these tires, caution laps aren't really wearing the tires like that, right? So you really only have, over the last 50 laps on these tires, you probably only got 20 green flag laps. You easily got another 37 in these tires. Even if we go green the whole way, the closest person to him on the freshest tires is going to be Parker Collins all the way back there in 13th.
Yeah, so, all right. Be interesting.
Yeah, if I'm Ricky Hardin, Mike Kelly, Lane Hostler, Ross Tatum, any of these guys in the top, 15, I'm not pitting. I'm riding with what I got and hoping that some of the guys around me pit so that I don't have to deal with them.
Chris Smith's spinning on a caution here.
Looked like he might have got the lucky dog, too.
Well, extracurricular activity or what happened to him on this one. It said he wrecked, but we'll see.
He's just taking a lap on the extra short track.
Yeah. Well, maybe they just figured him stopping like that. It was a stop. Lights off on the pace truck. Here we go. We're going back green. Pace trucks in. Harding company up front, Kelly and them. We're going back green, North Wilkesboro style. Ricky Harding getting a good jump out front, man. Great with Kelly.
Great restart from these
man,
guys.
right there with Tatum. Man, them two guys, man, side by side.
Man, Mike Kelly has done a phenomenal job of just keeping Ricky Harding.
Oh, we got the leader.
He gets into him, spins him.
And I think there, but I'm going to tell you what, Collins. Collins. Well, that was Collins. I'm going to tell you what, Wayne. That right there, I think there was a little mess up by Kelly's part, but then I think he helped out Harding by getting up there and maybe straightening him out. I mean,
he might have helped him out, but he also might have damaged that left front wheel.
Yeah, let's watch it one more time. I mean, it's just short track racing at its best. Mike Kelly right there, just hard racing. You see Harding get a little tight going up the track right there. They go a little side by side and just overdrove the turn just ever so slightly.
Barely clipped that wall on the exit there, and I think that's where Mike Kelly saw his opportunity, and he thought he had more track than he did. He tried to. I don't honestly think he intentionally.
No, it's just one of those.
Yeah, it was just one of them things, and man, that is wildly unfortunate for Ricky Hardin and that Lucis Fast number 3. That is.
Yeah. Well, good news is Harding stayed in 4th. Kelly went into the pits, and I don't know. I'd have to go back on the rule. You know the rule on it. I don't know if it's EOLs or anything like that. But maybe Kelly went into the pits thinking, hey, look, I'm just going to pits and give the position up because that was on me. You saw him get up there and kind of catch the side of Harding, which I got to give credit where credit's due. That's a veteran move. Guy spinning, he basically helped him straighten that truck out, Hardy, because that could have been way worse for Ricky Hardy.
Well, if you look at it, it looked like Lane Hosler kind of, when Mike got into him, he immediately recognized he got into him, and he tried to back off, and Lane Hosler was obviously, he's coming through, and he got into the back of Mike Kelly a little bit, just the chain reaction that'll happen in any corner. Got into the back of him a little bit, and I think that's what propelled Mike forward. So he might have just brought his truck down pit road to make sure he didn't have too much damage to get through this race, right?
Yeah, lights off on the pace truck. We're going to go back, man. So wild action here tonight. Lane Hosler, we just talked about him. This could be the bounce back he needs season. If he wins tonight, puts him in the playoffs. He missed it last season, folks, after 2 dominating seasons in a row. Just a dismal season, but pace truck's in. He's going to be out front leading the field. Lane Hosler and company up front. You got Tatum along with it. And
Tatum got a really good jump on that restart.
Did he jump to start? That's going to be a question. He passed the leader before the line. I don't know the rule on that one, Wayne. You probably know the rule on it, but he did pass him before the line.
As far as I remember, the rule is, go on the leader in the restart zone. The leader gets to kick in the restart zone unless you hit the end of the restart zone first. But, maybe Lane hit it and spun a little bit, caught a little bit of slippage. I'm really watching Ricky Harden's truck right now just to see if he's got some wheel damage that would prevent him from getting this. He's a little bit loose there.
Tires are probably hot. You mentioned that a couple times when you spin.
Yeah, those tires are probably hot, and taking that lick in that left front that he did, the tap on the fender in the back, that's not going to do any real damage. That's going to affect anything. It looks okay, but you get a little bit of wheel damage, a bent wheel, especially at a short track like this where you got to be on point 100% of the time. You're going to really have.
I mean, we're not in the truck, so we can't tell. I mean, you've been in the truck here, and that's one of the things we can't really see, so we can't feel it inside the truck. He could have a tow problem or whatnot, and it looked good from here because we're looking. The wheels look fairly fine, but again, ever so slightly,
And the yellow flag is back out.
Let's see what happens. See if we can get an idea. Go back here, Chris Smith. I don't know if that's on him, but go back here to the back and.
I think something might have happened with
one of those really quick spins doesn't show up on my doesn't pop up on my ticker thing over here.
Keep an eye on Jordan Trash on this. Yeah, in the race chat they're talking about how he got clipped in the rear, and he's definitely the slow truck right there.
Back on him then, see. Right there in the mix, he's in that 79 machine behind the 17. Door to door. His nose ever so slightly 3 wide. Don't work too well at this track. That's Mike Kelly. Oh, Mike Kelly.
Oh man.
Man, that was just 3 wide. Man,
that was just 3 wide, and I don't think Mike Kelly realized he was still going to be 3 wide on the exit of that corner.
And that new tire effect. We talked about that earlier.
Yep. And Mike, where Mike Kelly was at right there behind Jordan, he probably had no idea that the 17 truck was on the outside of Jordan Trash right there.
We got 23 here. It's 23 to go. Probably going to be about 21, 20 to go when we go back green. It's been an exciting one here at North Wilkesboro. Tatum out front. But now if you're Harding, do you still stay out or do you eventually pit?
I mean, if I'm Ricky Harden, I didn't lose any spots on the restart there. I restarted in 4th, and I stayed in 4th. He's one of the fastest trucks right now. Even if he's got the damage, he's still one of the fastest trucks. If I'm Ricky Harden, I'm staying out. There's 20 laps left, and a lot of this has been under caution. Even with the spin, now you get the opportunity under caution to cool those tires off a little bit and just let them get a little bit more underneath you, and you might be in a better position, but he's got some players behind him, right? Jeremy Moore, Joshua Altus right there sitting in 6th place, came back from nowhere. Parker Collins back there in 7th place on those brand new tires. He's only a couple spots right there behind Ricky, and you know, he wants that lead back.
Go back green, pace trucks in, green flag, Tatum and company out front, Hostler right there.
Huge restart.
Hostler right there along with him, man. Hardy, man, Kenny. Evan Kenny bouncing back. Remember, he was up front earlier in the race. You got Altus right there along with it, too. Up 27 positions, man. And he's got new tires. He pitted at lap 53, Altus did.
Yep, he's sitting on 20 lap better tires. And, you know, if I'm Altus, I'm trying to get away from Parker Collins right now, who's the next closest truck on fresh tires, right? Parker Collins up to 6, sitting right behind Evan Kenny and Joshua Altus.
Ghost is around in the back. No caution yet. We'll see if it's going to fly.
It looks like it might not fly. He's back rolling.
Okay. Let's go back up front and see what's happening here, because we got Hostler and company in battle for the lead. You got Tatum right there on the inside.
Joshua Altus, he's getting around Ricky Harding there.
Yeah, you got the Altus man right there, man, with Harding. Harding's on the inside of him. But we got a battle for the lead, battle for 3rd and 4th.
Yeah, and a lot of side-by-side all through that top 10.
Yeah, it is. Right now, I think this is a product, man, of those tires just giving up, man, on Harding right now. You see Altus trying to come through the field. Kenny right there with him. Moyer, Collins and company, man. Charles Van. You got Honeycutt and Curtis. Woo, good. Oh, yellow flag out now.
Yellow flag is out.
Looks around. Oh, that's Grant. Oh, man. We'll see what happened. He's in this mess of 3 wide back here. Oh, that's not where you want to be. You see Kelly involved, 17. And I'm not saying you can't do 3 wide here. Probably wouldn't advise it too much.
Yeah, I wouldn't advise it for more than about half a straightaway.
Yeah, got that one settled out there a little bit. Back 3 wide again. Grant's that truck on the inside. Oh, just a little contact between him and 11. Yep. It's just a close quarter short track racing. Unfortunately, takes it into the wall.
Ooh.
Wow.
Takes a hard nose into the wall there.
All right. Puts us under caution here. Lane Hostler takes the lead out front. So.
Him and Ross Tatum have had some great battles up there in front.
You're Ross. What do you got to do here? Got to get around Lane.
If you're Ross, you need one hell of a restart, and you just got to ride that outside line. You either got to give up the outside, hope that Lane gets enough of a restart or enough of a start that you can dive down in behind him. But with Joshua Altus right behind him there on a little bit better tires, Lane Hostler's got the oldest tires next to Ricky Harding in the top 10, realistically, aside from Judson Curtis, who also pitted on lap 33, sitting in 10th place.
Guy in 6th place.
Yeah, watch that guy in 6th place.
Yeah, gonna sneak up there, man. He gets one more caution. If he takes a couple positions here, gets one more caution, it puts him right there in that position I was talking about earlier. Ow. This could be back in the mix of this thing.
Yeah, it looks like Collins is coming back into the mix, and I think at this point Lane's just going to try to hold on, right? He's going to be up there just fighting for life.
Mm-hmm. Looks like he's going to get the control of the field here. Lights off on the race truck. Going back green here this time around.
We're going to go green with 12 laps to go.
Whew.
I think this is where you're really going to see that aggression, right? Cautions breed cautions, and cautions on short tracks with 12 or 15, 20 or less to go. You're going to see the aggression level of these guys kind of really pick it up here.
Pace trucks in. Here we go. Hostler and company up front. Going back green here, North Wilkesboro style. Tatum right there along with him. Good jump by Hostler out front. Tatum right behind him. Here comes Joshua Altus to the inside, though. Hey, he's a man you got to keep an eye on, too, because he sits back there the whole entire race in a yellow flag. Wow.
Oh, man, it looks like the 89 of Bryson Clark.
What happened to him back here in the back? And I got to admit, these cautions here, I know the guys behind him don't want to see it, but they are definitely going to benefit Hostler, man, if he keeps getting those jumps out front.
They're absolutely going to benefit Hostler, but now you got Joshua Altus sitting in second place, up 30 positions from the front of this. Hands down, biggest mover of the race.
Oh, he just overdrove the turn, just drove it in hard, and then just lost it. I mean, just one of those, just overdrove it inside there. But you just mentioned it, Joshua Altus. He's one of those, and I've talked about him, a million times. He might have a bad qualifying, or the whole race looks like he's just doing terrible. The next thing you know, boom, he's up front, out of nowhere, up there. Where did he come from? And right now, he's sitting in second, pitting on lap 53, so he's got a lot fresher tires. Obviously, the man that we're keeping an eye on here, Collins, but these cautions at this point right now, being as quick as they are, will not benefit Collins. He needs, the cautions that are going to get him to go at least 3-5 laps or so. That way he can, pass some guys, but keeps getting these quick cautions.
If you're Collins at this point, you're hoping that this thing goes green just long enough for you to get in one of the top 3 positions and then get a green-white checkered. You'll have the best tires in the field, best tires in the front of the field anyway, and you'll be able to really take advantage of that green-white checkered if you get it.
Hostler, the man up front, he's just hoping, man, it stays like it is. He's been dominating a little bit here, but it's been, Ricky Harding, a lot of this race out front. The older set of tires, he's sitting right there in the 4th place, getting set to go back green here. It's been a good one here. North Wilkesboro style. And North Wilkesboro is one of these tracks that has been around for a long time. I mentioned a little bit of it earlier on in. North Carolina style track. It shut down in the late 90s. Stayed closed for the long time. They just recently opened it here in the past couple years. iRacing went and scanned it, put it on the service. Here we are tonight, Clean Racing League, pace trucks in, we're going green, Hostler and company up front. Can Altus make man waves right there along with Harding and Tatum, man. Great restart for everyone. We're going back green.
Altus is going to get right up behind him. Yellow flag is out. Seth Bowdy in that 17.
Yeah.
Big one back there.
Ooh. Go back and watch, because that caught Chris Smith also. And Jamie L back there in the back. So right here with Seth Bowdy. Middle of the pack. 17 machine. Pretty good clean start right there in the back. And just kind of went in there a little hard, and Smith nowhere to go as he goes up on the back.
Yeah.
Boom. Okay. Well, Collins got a spot out of that one, but here's the thing. Time's winding out, and this is probably going to put us in green-white checker.
More than like. Yeah.
We go another 2 laps on caution. It was a green-white checker. We'll have to see when the lights go off. If the lights go off this time around, no. Off for the next time, maybe.
Man, just while we're under caution here, just a huge shout out to these guys, Lane and Ricky Hardin. Haven't pitted since lap 33. Same thing, Judson Curtis up there in 9th place. Hasn't pitted since lap 33. Just up there hanging on in their top 10. The 3 trucks with hands down the oldest tires on the field.
We're going to have a green-white checker because come around, lights will go off, and then free to go. So either it's official green-white checker or it's really just nutshell going to be a green-white checker.
Yeah, I think it's a by chance green-white checkered, and I believe we get one overtime attempt,
1 or 2. We'll see. It's going to be 3 to go.
Going. It looks like we might end up using it.
Yep. Hostler out front. I tell you what, lights off. It's going to be interesting to see what happens on this restart. Does Collins got enough to come from the 5th place spot to the front? Does Harding have anything left in those tires to bring it out there? or does Joshua Altus just steal the whole entire show from them all? And can Lane Hostler hold it all? Pace trucks in. We're going back green. We'll say green, white, checkered attempt number 1. We're back green here at North Wilkesboro. Hostler gets to jump on the field.
Huge restart from Hostler, and Ricky Harden's going to check right in behind him. He's going to try to fight for that number 2 spot against Joshua Altus, but I think tires are going to prevail in that situation.
Look at Tatum on the top side there trying to see what he can do. Rumble as Hostler comes around is going to take it. White flag. It's official here. 3 wide. Look at the 87. Collins knows he's got to move. And the wrecking in the back.
Behind him, Egan Kemeny. Huge wreck behind him in the back. Yep. Oh, my.
Out of 4. Final time for this man right here. Lane Hostler is going to bring it to victory lane and punch his ticket into the playoffs here. Missing it last season, but he's going to get it this season. Wow, and a thriller. But look at Joshua Altus, 30 positions up into second. Ross Tatum hangs on in the third. Well, Wayne, that one was a thriller at the end.
That one was a thriller, most of the way through it. Woo. Oh, my gosh. Lane on those restarts was just systematic.
Loved it. Awesome. So we're going to word in with some of these guys. Man, Lane Hostler, what a way we talked about to get your psyche back. What a way to get that mental focus back here and to put it in victory lane in what I'm going to consider probably a pretty tough track.
Yeah, definitely a very tough track and tough conditions on this track, on an already tough track today, right? Really hot track and loose trucks. Real tough conditions on an already tough track. You can't ask for, like I said, this is one of them races where Lane can shine. It's a real technical race where he can get up there and use that very technical style of driving that he has to get that win.
Let's bring up this man here, Ross Tatum. Let's get a word with him, man, who just fought his way all night long to stay in third.
Ross, how you doing, man? This is Joe Wayne up in the booth. You got us?
Yeah, I got you. What's going on?
Not a whole lot, man. Hey, congratulations on that third place finish. You've had a real dominant start to this season. Run me through that last, you haven't pitted in 70 laps. Man, run me through how that strategy worked out. Was this part of the plan, or was this just flying by the seat of your pants?
It was definitely a lot of flying by the seat of my pants tonight, man. I was just hoping to make it halfway before I pitted. Honestly, before the race, I didn't think we'd have enough reflag laps to even need to pit. But props to everybody in the league. I mean, there was a lot of cautions there at the end, but there was some decent runs there tonight, so it made it at least interesting. And the other good thing was the track was hot enough that the tires mattered. So I knew early in the race when Harden took tires after like 30 laps and drove up front that they meant something. So me and Josh decided to pit at 51, I think, and it really worked out for us tonight. So I no complaints. I'll take a third. I kind of felt like I gave that race away there on that one of those restarts, but all in all, it wasn't too bad.
I'll tell you what, from our point of view, man, watching you and whoever was next to you on these restarts on the front row, it looked like you guys were just, trading blows as far as who was going to get the jump. Run me through that. How do you get the best restart going into this? I mean, were you feeling like you had better restarts on the outside line or the inside line, or was it different throughout the race?
Yeah, it was it's kind of one of those nights where you kind of wish you could choose lanes, because the outside lane on that restart was so dominant, and you just needed to be able to pick tonight because the outside was just way better than the inside, and basically the green flag flew at the same time every single restart, so you knew when it was going to fly. So almost on the outside you could anticipate it, so it was almost a little bit better, honestly. But yeah, I mean, just great job by everybody tonight, and great job to Lane on winning. It's good to see him back in victory lane.
All right, man. Well, you got anybody you want to thank tonight?
Yeah, I got to thank my S&B guys, Josh, Rob, and Zach, and Matt, and you guys at OSR. It's always awesome going back and watching the races, so that's always fun. And thanks to Chris and Ghost Athletics and everybody with the league. It's been an awesome start to the season. Hopefully I can keep it up, and hopefully I can get the 1 seed going into the playoffs. That'd be great.
Oh, I know that'd be one heck of an advantage for you. Well, hey, man, thank you for one exciting race, and congratulations on that third place finish, and congratulations on a great start to this season so far.
Thanks, guys.
There you go. Like you said, third place man, old Ross Tatum. He, on a tough track, held in there though. But this guy, been just out of nowhere. Joshua Altus, 30 positions up to second. Man, let's get a word with him. But a fantastic night.
Hey, Josh, this is Joe and Wayne up here in the booth. You got us?
10-4, Wayne. I got you, buddy.
Hey, man, great job driving through that field and up 30 positions, man. Run me through a little bit of the race. What happened there in qualifying that set you starting 32nd?
Yeah, honestly, I just I had no time at all to practice this week. I normally try to hop in the session right when the practice session starts, and my wife had a little get together with some of her friends, so I was on dad duty tonight, so I didn't get to join the session until about 15 minutes before qualifying, and I'm on a new Fanatec direct drive wheel as well, so first time on that on a short track, so just a lot of new things that I didn't really have time to prepare for tonight, and just was super uncomfortable in qualifying. Just didn't have enough laps to put one down, so I knew these short track races are normally pretty hectic, so I was just trying to focus on staying out of trouble, and I knew once the race got started I could kind of pick my way through a little bit and just try to end up on the right strategy. And I was not expecting to surge that far. I told Ross Tatum, my teammate, about halfway through the race, I'm like, man, if I could just get a top 10, that'll feel really good tonight. And then I kept surging forward and kept getting the outside on some of the restarts, and got all the way up to second there, and I was like, oh man, I gotta go for it now. But Lane did a really, really good job executing on that last restart, and I just didn't have a chance at that point.
Yeah, man, you were definitely one of the guys to watch the whole night, just watching you come through the field a couple different times, really. After you pitted on lap 52, and coming back up after that.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. It was pretty funny, actually, because I'm not used to obviously qualifying that deep in the field, and so normally when you come down pit road, they'll count you down, and my crew chief just said bots is early, and by the time I looked, I was already past it, so I actually missed my pit bots when I came down initially, and then lost more trap position. So yeah, there's a lot of challenges tonight, but overall really, really happy to come away with the P2. It was a good day. I know Ross is disappointed. He was leading there at the end and got a little loose, and Lane was able to squeak by him, but he still finished third on the podium. So good night for SMB Motorsports, and coming off his win last week. So just really proud of our team, and we'll keep trying to using this positive momentum, and hopefully we can get victory lane soon too.
Well, hey man, I got one more question for you. If you don't mind, could you qualify in the back a little bit more often for us? That way we get to watch you drive through this field more often.
It was fun, I'll give you that. I really do enjoy passing people, so that was a lot of fun, but it definitely makes it a lot harder trying to win these races. So I can't promise you anything, Wayne, but we'll see what we can do.
All right, man. Well, you got anybody you want to thank tonight?
Yeah, as always, I got to thank Joe and yourself, Wayne. You guys are doing a great job in the booth this year, man. And I know you and I kind of butted heads a little bit toward the end of last season, but I'm happy to see you being a part of this league one way or another, and happy to see you in the booth, man. So you're doing a good job, and thanks to Joe, as always, OSR Network. Thanks to Chris Smith and all the admins that run the Clean Racing League. I'm going to try to stick around in the booth a little bit more as well. I made my booth debut on Wednesday night for the ARCA series, so enjoyed hanging out with Joe, and I'm going to try to do that as much as I can too. So just really enjoy this community we've all built together, and all the people in it. So just big shout out to everyone part of Clean Racing League. Thanks to my teammates, everyone at SME Motorsports, Zach Peterson, Ross Tatum, Matt Dyer wasn't here tonight, and Rob Sherwood. He had a softball game that he couldn't miss, so missed having Rob tonight, but Just overall, really good night. Shout out to Sinvar Roofing and Solar. Anyone in the Virginia area looking to save some money on their electricity, feel free to shoot me a message. Love to walk you through how solar works and talk to you about our equipment and the warranties and all that good stuff. So, just a really good night, and appreciate everything you guys do.
Hey, thank you, man. Congratulations again on that second place finish. Hell of a job tonight, Josh.
Thank you, bud. We'll see you.
There you go. Like you just said, man, you mentioned it, man, coming through the field. That was just wild to see and just, I don't know, unprecedented. This guy out of nowhere again, Lane Hostler. Lane, you in the booth, you got a copy?
Yeah, what's going on?
Well, I tell you what, I haven't got to speak with you in a while. You know, we mentioned and we talked a little bit. This was a tough track here tonight. And, first and foremost, putting in victory lane here tonight, winning it, punching your ticket into the playoffs for this season. Take us through how your race was here. I mean, coming through the field and then holding those guys off. How was you feeling on those older tires out there, later on, trying to hold those guys off?
To be completely honest, not great. I did not like the old tires. I did not think it was going to work. Those guys, I could see them in the relative getting closer and closer and closer every caution, and I kind of just thought it was a matter of time before I was swallowed up by Josh and Ross and even Evan. Evan was up there too. I don't know what happened to him late, but I just tried to keep it clean, kind of avoid some of the chaos and save as much as I could. Was hoping we'd get a bit of a long run, but other than that, it was pretty good.
Do you think maybe some of the shorter runs, like the cautions, might have helped you out there later on with those tires?
I think yes. The more we had restarts, the better, more consistent I was feeling getting a good restart and trying to get a good launch and then get into turn one without getting too loose. Kind of when we would first take off going into turn one, it seemed like it was real easy to lock up the rear wheels a little bit, and as soon as that happened, you slide up the track. And I thought Josh was going to turn under me a couple of times, but he didn't quite get it, and we held him off. So
there you go, putting in victory lane. Got the kind of one last thing here. We've talked about the past here. We talked about the 2 seasons that you just actually dominated. Just came up a little short in the last part. And then last season, man, was probably a season you just want to forget. And we talked up here in the booth a lot about the mentality of what it takes. Sometimes it can play a toll on a driver. So, with that said, how do you as a driver? I mean, tonight is definitely going in the right track for you. But is this what you needed to get you back on that right track to being dominant like you were?
I mean, I hope. Obviously, the season hasn't started off quite the way I would like. I think I finished 33rd and 26th to start the season, so that's not really what I want at all, and not really what I'm used to. So to not have speed tonight and still come away with the win feels real good. I definitely like these guys had me in 1 lap speed. If they were there, it was not going to be good for me. But I just kind of did what I needed to do tonight.
Well, I'll tell you what, you've done it in the past, you're doing it tonight, you put it in victory lane, and like I said, like I told Tatum last week, I'm going to tell you this week there, Hostler, you punch yourself in your ticket, man, into the playoffs to get an opportunity to go for that championship. And again, man, tonight, winner, you got anybody you want to thank for it?
Yeah, I got to thank Subscriber Motorsports and the Only Dads Boys and Hostler Fence and you guys for broadcasting. You guys do a great job. I'm going to go watch this one back. Probably fast forward through a few cautions, but definitely going to watch it back.
I'll tell you what, there you go. Lane Hostler finally getting it back in the victory lane, man, in an awesome fashion. Wayne, I think we had a little bit of everything in this one here tonight. We had some caution, we had some a little bit of strategy out there. We had some guys come through the field, and, we talked about it. I think this right here might really could set the path for Hostler to get back on the rails that he was a couple seasons ago.
Yeah, I think you're right. Is setting the path for Hostler. It's got that weight off his back got his first win, back in victory lane, gets to, doesn't have to worry about, oh well, last season. Now all he's got to worry about is, I've corrected that, I've turned this around, and maintaining that mentality of, I've turned this around. But you're right, we had a little bit of everything, man. If you don't like that kind of short track racing, you just ain't a short track fan.
I've said it a couple times, Wayne. I said I could play some golf on the channel for you, man, if you thought that was boring, because I was an exciting one there. But we're going to leave North Wilkesboro. Lane Hostler put in the victory lane for the Clean Racing League, Ghost Athletics, and all of them out there. Myself and everyone, have a good night.